On the 25th of December 2023, the unthinkable happened. That was Boxing Day, and a few days later I said this. Been in touch with RACQ about the troop carrier and recovery of that, but they tell me that the tree, removing the tree, is my responsibility. That raises an important point, and that is that the information that you're given is not necessarily always accurate. It's just dependent on who it is that gives it to you. And I'll come back to that in just a moment. But I'll give you another example. This fence, as in the Colorbond fence, was not built on the boundary line. So the boundary fence is in fact that mesh fence that you can see behind it. And all around, the fence was built, I don't know, 20 or 30 centimetres inside the property boundary. And at the back here, the neighbours, when they moved in here behind, removed the fence. So why does that matter? Well, according to the same insurance company, RACQ, and bearing in mind that this is now 28th of March, so 3 months on, and we still haven't seen a final settlement, but their intention is to pay 50-50 of the value of the fence to the neighbouring properties. But to me, that is illogical, firstly because the fence was originally paid for by the property owner of this property in its entirety, and they built it inside the boundary so that they wouldn't then have to negotiate with neighbours regarding the type of fence that they wanted, which is fair enough. Now, when I spoke with RACQ representatives at a meeting that had been organised by the Insurance Council regarding that, they said if it acts as a boundary fence, then it's a boundary fence. But I don't know if they realise how stupid that sounds, because if it's the case, let's say for example that a neighbour builds a fence inside their own property, whether it's 20 centimetres, 30 centimetres or 30 metres, and then I remove the boundary fence and I say, well, I'm going to treat that now as a boundary fence. Does that mean now that my yard extends 30 metres or 30 centimetres into their yard, given that a dividing fence, according to the Dividing Fences Act, has to be built on the boundary? So, I mean, try and figure out that illogicality if you can, because I can't. Anyway, back to the RACQ. Now, they told me that it was my responsibility to move that tree, but luckily Harvey's Towing, who were contracted to salvage the Troopy, didn't pay any attention to what it was that they were saying at all. And at that precise moment, the camera battery ran out. Started her up, engaged four-wheel drive low, locked in the hubs and drove it right on out. Unbelievable. It just shows how unbreakable Troopies are, that it's actually managed to extricate itself and then tow the trailer out.